till he knows for sure he doesn't. Which is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
They don't get to enjoy the fun with the basketball team.
Right? That's what our athletic shorts is the best season ever.
Yeah.
Save our lucky. But now they are starting to let them.
Right.
But yeah, just a year.
I don't want to jump really.
We'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Any way you get it.
Well, being a Hawkeye fan, I sure did enjoy the Ohio State game.
No.
Yeah, that was fun.
Wasn't
Yeah,
that a
yeah,
fun
it
game?
was,
Good for
yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And too bad for Iowa with their.
I
I know,
know,
that
I
sucks.
know, that's,
'Cause I was
that's,
You gotta think they're all excited. They're getting ready to get.
Ready to go.
Sorry, can't go.
Missed out on, and not having to watch that night either. That was too. I was like, I was really looking forward to that.
John, you may have been on the school board, I'll never forget the year that we, big art fair we had. All the preparations, we just did everything, had everything all set up, and the next morning, we had that big power outage.
Yep.
Blew the cable all the way underneath, and it was shut down, we did, yeah, it was done.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the January 4th, 2021 City Council meeting. We're gonna call it to order. Let's start by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Jackie, could you please call the roll?
Councilmember Hewlin. Here. Parker.
Present.
Kling.
Here,
Schroeder.
Present.
Southall.
Here on Zoom.
Marchant.
Here.
Mayor Pepper.
Here. Yes, Greg and Greta are both online or on Zoom tonight, but they're here with us. So thanks for being here with us. All right, we're going to move right into open forum public comment. If there's anybody here that would like to comment on anything that's not on the agenda, please come forward. Let us know at this time. Seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on to consent agenda. Lots of good things. Anybody got a motion?
move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Jackie, do you want to call the roll, please?
Councilmember Schroeder.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Kling.
Aye.
Great. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Council report. Presentation and direction regarding participation in an economic development district in central Iowa. I think Charlie's going to give us a little update first.
Just really quick, Gunnar Olson and Andrew Collins from the Des Moines area MPO are on the Zoom call here, and they're going to give the brief presentation. So I'm just going to introduce them, and then I believe they're just going to share their screen up there. So if you guys pay attention on the TV, it should be up there.
Thanks,
Thank
Charlie.
you.
Hi everyone, this is Gunnar Olson with the Des Moines Area MPO. Thank you very much for having us. I'm going to guide the presentation here and we'll share my screen here in just a second. But as I get the screen shared, I'd like to introduce our boss, Todd Ashby, who's our executive director, and he just wants to take a moment to say hi.
Yeah, thanks, Gunnar. My name is Todd Ashby. I'm the director at the MPO, and we appreciate mayor and council members the opportunity to talk with you tonight and share a little bit about what an economic development is and what it might be able to do for the region. We've been looking at this for a couple of years, and given with the pandemic situation, it provides a bit of a unique opportunity to kickstart this. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Gunnar and Andrew, and they're going to walk through the presentation.
Thank you, Todd. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Collings, principal planner here at the MPO. I'll be the one guiding everyone through the slides, doing the presentation. So again, wanted to echo Todd's comments. Thank you, everyone, for having us and finding time to listen to our presentation. So before I jump into what exactly an economic development district is, we thought we would show you exactly where they are. On the map on the right, you can see that in central Iowa, all parts of the state are part of an economic development district, except for the 7 counties here in central Iowa of Boone, Dallas, Story, Jasper, Polk, Marion, and Warren. On the left, the map of the United States shows where the various economic development districts are just across the country. Just like to point out, they cover areas very large, very small, and everything in between. So like I mentioned, central Iowa is the state's only area without an economic development designation. The reason why we're bringing this forward now is because of the recent COVID-19 pandemic. We are now eligible to form an economic development district due to the national emergency declaration that was issued. Just to let everyone know, we're not the only ones looking at this. Our contacts through the partnership brought us over to Marion County / Indianapolis, connected with those folks, and they're presented that we're not the only ones looking at this designation. They are as well. Next slide. So what exactly is an economic development district? For one, the most basic function is a designation from the U.S. Economic Development Administration. So this designation is given to regions that have experienced economic distress. Traditionally here in central Iowa, we do not usually meet the economic distress criteria that EDA looks at. So then we only are able to form one through the disaster declarations that happen. So these regions are formed multi-jurisdictional by nature, commonly comprised of multiple counties that basically EDDs plan for the economic resiliency of a region and provide support for member communities. And I think this is an important thing to note, that EDDs are different from traditional economic development agencies or arms. An EDD is not a chamber of commerce or like the partnership. It's not like your economic development corporations or regional offices, and it doesn't recruit business. Much like the partnership works for its members, businesses and the like, EDDs work for its members, which are the cities and counties for the region. Next slide. So the benefits of doing this: one, during major disasters, EDDs are the first to receive funding. For example, here in Iowa, during the CARES Act, all EDDs in Iowa received $470,000 in no match funds that went towards recovery, or is going towards recovery from COVID-19. So that's something that happens during major disasters. On the more annual side, annual funding, it's a planning grant, is provided to staff and administer the economic development district. And one of the many benefits from that is it improves applications for federal funding and other funding as well. So in addition to that, there's staff support that's provided. That staff support is used to apply for and administer various grants. It's also used to identify funding opportunities at various levels of government, but it also fills in gaps for supporting projects that may or may not happen otherwise, just being there to provide technical support on behalf of communities to accomplish community projects. In addition to that, in order to form an EDD, you have to have what's called a comprehensive economic development strategy. It's called the CEDS. And it catalogs priority projects, goals, and objectives, and improves the competitiveness of grant applications for communities. It's not, and the CEDS is not intended to replace what's already been done. It's more of a way to take all of the planning that has been done by various communities and put it together. So you would take the information provided by comp plans, any economic development plans, the Tomorrow Plan, Coppola Crossroads, and combine that into one centralized document. Next slide. Thank you. So staff went through and looked at annual reports from EDA for the last 10 years and pulled out some projects that gave you an example of what kind of funding we're talking about from EDA that has been funded here in Iowa. So for example, about 1.7 million was given to the city of Cedar Rapids to help relocate a water main for flood resiliency for their Quaker Oats factory. Community colleges received some funding, several different iterations of that, for a new facility for skill training, technical assistance, that sort of thing. Sioux City got funding for their Gateway Airport project, and the city of Dyersville received funding for their Field of Dreams project. Next slide. And what would it take to form an EDD? So at the most basic level, we need every county to be part of a presidentially declared disaster declaration, which has already happened. The agency requesting funding must have adequate private representation on the board, and I'll get to that here in a second. Has to have the support of all the counties within the Economic Development District area, must have concurrence with the state, and then local match for the planning grant. The agency requesting funding has to have adequate private representation. That's something we're working on. We're really looking at this in a two-step process. One is designating the EDD area, and that really is the only requirements for that is having the county support the creation of the EDD. Now, to access the planning funds on the back end, you also need an organization that has both public and private representation. Currently, there's nothing regionally that meets that criteria. So we're looking at creating a new organization that will fit the EDA's requirements for the various federal requirements that are required for this. So that's when we're talking about that. That's what we mean. And in addition to that, like I mentioned, we also need a CEDS, a comprehensive economic development strategy has to be created. So the most simplistic terms is very much like the long range transportation plan that the Central Iowa Regional Transportation Planning Alliance does, as well as the MPO for the region, done every 5 years. But instead of focusing on transportation, it looks at economic growth. Next slide. So next steps, we are meeting with stakeholders in each of the counties to understand priority projects, ask questions, present this information. Next step is meeting with County Board of Supervisors. We will be presenting to Warren County's supervisors tomorrow morning at their regular meeting. So all counties in the district have to support the formation of EDD, although they would not be required to join. That's that two-step process. The one is creating the EDD by having the support. The second step is then asking communities who would like to participate in the EDD. And that's something each community gets to choose whether they'd like to or not. And then lastly, also having support from the governor. So thank you for your time. If you have any questions, either myself, Todd, or Gunnar would be happy to take them.
I'm just curious, I really believe in regional planning. But I'm curious, is the reason why this is the last, why we didn't do this earlier, or?
Yes. One, generally, the Des Moines region does better than the rest of the state in the most simplistic terms. But secondly, a lot of the regions are housed within regional agencies that are existing, typically a council of governments, and that's just not something we have here in Central Iowa. So the impetus to move it forward really hasn't been there. But then also, because we have to rely on presidentially declared disaster declarations that touch every county, that opportunity just does not happen very often.
Thank you.
Other questions? So council, just so you know, tonight we're looking for you to give direction to the staff that do we want to move forward with this? If we decide to do something like that, then there would be something more formal put in place moving forward when it's needed.
Yeah, I think this is a wise choice for us to be looking into this.
Agreed.
Yeah, good idea.
Yes, definitely support.
Especially since, it was helpful to hear the explanation that you gave earlier about the qualification and what they would do. I think those are things that would be a good supplement.
I don't know how it would hurt us.
Right.
Anything else? Anybody else wants to add? Staff, I failed to mention before, Ryan Waller, our city manager, is on the Zoom call as well. Ryan, is there anything else you want to add to this that we're just missing?
Yeah, just Charlie and I participated in a meeting with other Warren County communities that was hosted by the MPO. This was a couple weeks ago. Really, it's we wanted to make sure that they had an opportunity to present to the council. As Andrew mentioned, they're going to be talking to Warren County. The counties are the ones that make that determination whether or not the region can actually establish the district. And then once that district's established, Mayor, as you mentioned, we would have the opportunity as an individual community to then join in as a kind of like a 2080 agreement with the larger group. So this is just more informational at this point. We do have a meeting set up later this week with Andrew, Charlie, and I to go through our comprehensive master plan, which would be part of that SEDS process that Andrew mentioned. But it's certainly a benefit to our region and to our community, especially with all the things that we have going on.
Now, will the Board of Supervisors, will they be making a decision on that tomorrow, or just hearing the report or the information?
We have put that on for possible action. The only action they would take tomorrow is the support. That's the only thing that they have to do on their end to make sure that Warren County is on board with the initiative and allow cities like Indianola, Norwalk, and Carlisle to be able to join later on.
Okay, I just wanted to know when we should send our support to the supervisors so they know where we stand on. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, staff, do you have the direction you need?
We do. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Todd, Andrew, and Gunnar for joining us this evening and for giving us this update. We appreciate it so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Mayor, a question before you go on.
Sure.
Would we want to switch 41, 42 around? Does it make any difference? Because you're going to approve the current listing of, and then we're going to add one, or does that make any difference?
I think we can do it.
Okay. Okay.
Good question. All right, Jackie, you're going to lead us through the approval of the listing of the current board and commission members.
Yes, the council policy says that the council will be presented the current listing of boards and commission members at the first meeting in January. So it's there for your approval. And if there's any changes that need to be made to the council positions, let us know at this time.
Very thorough and good list, so thank you very much. Questions on it? Thoughts?
Mayor, if I can, this is Ryan. Just to Councilman Kling's point, this is just something that's annual, so the consideration for the next item would not impact this. This is just a simple review.
So we do need a motion though to approve it. Correct?
Yeah.
To receive it.
Yeah, just receive the file.
Okay.
Second.
Did you have a
Motion.
question? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Any other comments? This can be a simple motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you for that. And thank you to all of you that serve on one of our boards and commissions. We greatly appreciate it. And to those of you citizens that are not serving on one, if you're interested, there is always on our website, all the openings and when they are open positions, their lengths, their terms, everything. So please consider doing it. It is, I've done it for a number of years and have really enjoyed serving. So I hope you will consider joining us. All right. Consideration of the appointment of Monica Weinman to serve on the Indianola Fine Arts and Beautification Commission for the term beginning effective immediately and ending July 1st, 2023.
Move to approve, and I'm excited to see people signing up for this.
I agree.
Second.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll write all that down now.
Oh,
Come on, Bob. Clean up the motion, all right?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Welcome aboard, Monica. Glad you're joining us. All right, resolution appointing members to the Warren County Revolving Loan Fund Review Committee. Charlie, walk us through this, please.
Yeah, so really quick, I know there's a few members on council who were not on board when this initial resolution passed, but just a quick summary. The USDA, excuse me, acronyms sometimes confuse me, but USDA has passed down about $50,000 worth of funding to the city. As part of that, we did transfer that funding over to the Warren County Economic Development to administer those funds. As part of the agreement, when we transferred that over there, council did agree to have 2 members appointed to that loan review committee by the Indianola City Council. To date, we have not done that. Also, to date, there has not been any action from the city's $50,000 that have needed those 2 people. But as we work through some projects, we are constantly bringing up this pot of funding as an alternative for people. And I think it's an appropriate time now to get those 2 members appointed. So we did reach out to council to get some possible nominations, and then reached out to those people and their willingness to serve. The 2 names that did come up was Jane Whalen and then myself as a staff member to serve on that committee. So if there's any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer it.
Just a reminder that those 50,000 only go to citizens of Indianola, representatives of Indianola, not out in the county. So that was why we wanted two representatives from the committee.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah.
John. That's good to know.
Yep.
Okay, other questions for Charlie? Or other questions? Thanks, Charlie.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I so move.
Second.
Okay. Jackie, can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Schroeder. Southall.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Kling.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes?
sorry, one point just for those watching at home. It's in the packet, but the review committee does not make the final decisions. They only make a recommendation on to the use of the funds. So that goes on to the WCDC Board of Directors. And then one of the other things too that we will do is just make sure that any use of funds gets reported back to City Council.
Thank you. Again, important information. So appreciate that, Ryan. All right, Mayor's report is next. That's me. Just want to wish you all a very happy new year. Let's hope 2021 is way better than 2020. My goodness, hooray, that's over. Wednesday is the Chamber's Legislative Lunch and Learn. I will be attending, as well as I think a couple of you are also attending. So looking forward to seeing you there. It is virtual, and I will be just giving a quick update on what's happening here in the city. I just want to do a little shout out to our firefighter, Brett Bauman, who retired this past weekend after 22 years of service. So in 1998, we hired our first full-time firefighters, and he was one of them. So just want to give him a shout out, enjoy retirement. Thank you for your dedicated and loyal service. We so appreciate it. I also do want to do a shout out and a thanks to the Home Builders Association of Greater Des Moines. If you haven't not yet seen it, it's coming quick. The January edition has a wonderful article featuring this great little town called Indianola, Iowa. So we appreciate their including us and mentioning us. It's a great article. I hope you have a chance to see it. Another little shout out to Public Works. Thank you so much for your excellent snow removal. We appreciate it. And just a reminder to our citizens, please help us out by cleaning out around the fire hydrants. If there was ever a fire, you would want the easy access to those hydrants. So please help out our team and clean out that space. End of December, the new winter 2021 Indianola magazine became available and is online. So please take a look at that. Lots of important things happening, lots of exciting events happening. A postcard will be mailed out here shortly. So great job to the team that put that together. We so appreciate it. And the last one I'll ask Ryan to just comment on. There was a public notice about a meeting on our union negotiations. So Ryan, do you want to just give us a little update on that?
Yeah, so just as part of normal protocol and as required by law, when we begin the negotiation process with labor, with our labor units, we have to provide a notice. So this is just it's a public notice. It's not a city council meeting. Council officials are not required to be there. No roll calls or anything like that. It's just a notice letting them know that this exchange of proposals will take place.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Ryan. That's all I got for you this week.
Mayor, can I add one thing?
Absolutely.
I noticed in the business record, it's the December issue. It's a year in 2020 review. I don't know if you saw it, but under bragging rights, they mentioned Indianola. It says the city of Indianola received its 4th consecutive distinguished budget award from the Government Finance Officers Association. I thought that was a really nice shout out. So we made the publication. So
I had
kind of feel like my grandma saying, look at we're in the paper, but I have to do it. So
Thank you, Heather. I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that forward.
Yeah,
Yes, that is
was
wonderful.
nice.
Nice catch. Good deal. All right, moving on. Resolution authorizing the city of Indianola to enter into a marketing agreement with Utility Service Partners Private Label, Inc., does business as Service Line Warranties of America for advertisement to the city's residents of warranty plans on residential property. Andy.
Mayor, members of the council, you have the information in your packet. I'm here to answer any questions. This is a program that's sponsored by the National League of Cities and the Iowa League of Cities. Several cities in Iowa participate in this, including Carlisle. When I was in Carlisle, we started this program. It's basically an insurance program that's run by a company that will pay for any repairs that to a sewer service line and a water service line and in-home plumbing if there's any issues with that. They you voluntarily will participate in this as a property owner. You pay into the insurance program so much per month. And then if you have an issue, which can be costly, especially if your service line goes across a road to the main, they'll pay for all the costs involved. The obligation of the city is that the city would allow them to do 1 or 2 mailings each year using the city letterhead and using the mayor's signature to help promote the program. It is not run by the city. They run the whole process of the program. The confusion might come in where property owners may call the city or call our utility partners, IMU, about the program. So we shared with them to let them know that this is a program that's not run by the city or by IMU. So we would just refer any questions to that program. So I think it's a good program if you're concerned about any issues that may come up with your service line. And it's just a service that we'd like to offer to our property owners.
As a homeowner who had their sewer line collapse underneath their basement floor a few short years ago on their old home, it is great. I mean, we didn't have it. It would have been nice. So I think it's a good program.
And we do get final say on that letter, correct? We say that.
Yes, that would be reviewed.
Yep.
And they work with or they're endorsed by the League of Cities?
They're endorsed.
That's awesome. I think that, that's kind of a safety net, I feel like, for us as well.
Yeah, in several cities, I know, like I said, Carlisle participates in this.
Yeah.
They've had no issues. I think Decorah also, there's several other cities.
Good. Other questions for Amy? Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Move that we approve resolution authorizing city and enter marketing agreement with utility service partners, private label Inc., doing business as Service Line Warranties of America for advertisement to the city's residents.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Jackie, call the roll, please.
Councilmember Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you so much. Under other business, we start with the city manager's report. Ryan Waller.
Thank you, Mayor. The first item under the report is consideration of a voluntarily extending the Families First Corona Response Act leave through March 31st. When the pandemic hit, Congress passed legislation that afforded this leave, and it expired December 31st. There is the opportunity for employers to extend that. We've done some research and looked at our peers. Many of the metro communities are extending it into the end of March. This is something that we at staff are recommending, provides a level of protection for our full-time and part-timers if impacted by COVID. We have Courtney, our HR managers, on the Zoom meeting to answer any questions that you may have.
Question?
Mayor Pepper, I don't have a question. This is Greta Southall.
Sure.
However, I would like to commend staff for making this recommendation. This is absolutely a service that we should afford our employees and give them that security, knowing that they won't run out of leave or have to take unpaid should they have issues with COVID. So I appreciate you guys bringing this forward.
Wholeheartedly agree with you, Greta. Thank you for that. Yes. Agreed. That is right. Yep.
That's too bad too.
It is, because it's not like you want to get it. Okay, so we need a motion.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yep.
Yep. Anyone?
So moved.
Next move. Oh,
Heather's got it. All
second.
right. And that is a roll? No, I didn't think so. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, team. That's a good one for our staff. Courtney, please notify the staff, or Ryan. Ryan, do you have anything else you want to share with us, or do you want us just to receive your correspondence?
I do not, just receive and file correspondence. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So do you want to receive and file the correspondence from December 18th and 2020, the weekly updates from the city manager, Ryan Waller?
I shall move to receive and file the correspondence from December 18th and 23rd, 2020 weekly updates from City Manager Ryan.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Team, we made it through the first one.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. All right, we stand in adjournment. Thanks so much.